the way that the Jewish people wrapped for burial was that the shroud went under and over the body. And then there were ties to tie it down. One tie that would spiral around. So that's why you have a front and a back. It's 14.3 feet long and 3.7 wide. It had to be linen. If there was a little piece of cotton in this, it would be not considered a Jewish burial cloth. And we know it is 1st century because a different linen strip was discovered in Masada in Israel, and it was dated to be from 40 BC to 73 AD, and it matches the exact stitching pattern. There is pollen grains that were lifted from the shroud, and it turns out that some of the pollen plants come from the native Jerusalem, and other pollen plants match from Constantinople, where the shroud also resided. To summarize evidence about the weaving pattern, the pollen, and the dirt, they are all placing the shroud in Jerusalem at the time of Jesus. Roman scourgings typically were under 50 lashes, with anything over 100 being considered fatal. This is what the Romans would whip Jesus' back with. And at the end of each of these are these metal things, and you can actually match them up to the scourge marks in his back. Another interesting fact is that there is only one person in history that has been known to be crowned with thorns. And the man on this shroud was crowned with thorns. The crown of thorns we think of as like this little thing he wore on his head, but what you see back there is more like it. It was a very thorny bush that they plaited together, which means like woven together. And the thorns were shoved on his head, and you see the blood marks from the thorns. So Jesus carried the cross, and he was unable to break his falls. So he would have fallen flat on his knees and his face. So when you study the face of the shroud, the nose is scrapped and distorted. His shoulders were carrying the cross. And when you look at the knee area, there is a lot of swelling and scraping of also dirt on the knees. But he never broke a bone. It says in the Old Testament 3 times that the Messiah would not have one bone broken. And he didn't. The man in the shroud has no bones broken. When Jesus was nailed to the cross, a lot of people think it was through the palm. But if a nail went through the palm, it couldn't support the body and it would rip. So it went through the wrist where it could hold the body up. And so if you press here, the thumb retracts because of the nerve damage. That is why you have 4 fingers showing. The shroud shows that the feet were crossed and a nail went through the blood onto the shroud heel. You can see the lance wound is on the right side, where the Roman soldier stuck the lance in to see if he was dead, and outflowed a clear fluid. The separation of blood and plasma only occurs after the person has died. And it confirms that the man was alive after 372 lashes. So who is this man? The man of the shroud was beaten, scourged, crowned, and then crucified. It is someone that resembles Jesus. They have tried to duplicate the shroud. It isn't paint. It sits right on top of the fibers. When they were doing moon explorations, they used this one machine, the 3D PP8 analyzer, and they could take pictures of the moon and it would show depth, it would show 3D. But if you took a picture of a photograph, you wouldn't get the 3D. So they took a picture of the shroud and it showed a 3D image. The image that sits on top of these fibers is got depth to it, and it's unlike anything. They can't replicate it. The only thing they can think of is that some kind of blast or power happened. Like in Pompeii, when the volcano erupted, there were pictures of people on the wall. So they feel like something like that caused the image to be formed. And really, they've tried to replicate it, but they can't. Now, the Catholic Church hasn't said that you have to believe that this is the shroud of Jesus. But the evidence points in a direction, and you have to wrestle with that and decide for yourself.